Welcome to Hypnotic Authenticity. This is a place to reflect, a place to unwind perhaps, to understand yourself a little better, and to gently reshape the patterns that guide your life. A little bit like a conversation between you and your deeper self. So I'm offering a sprinkling of hypnosis, insight, some meditative guidance, and it's all going to be woven throughout a deep sense of practicality. So that if I do my job well, each episode is going to help you feel more grounded, also more open, and more authentically you. So if you're ready, let's begin. I'm going to talk to you today about creating a set of daily habits to bring about a state of inner peace, inner wisdom, a better relationship with yourself. So I'm going to talk about three things. I'm going to talk about setting yourself up for the day, because our reality is driven very, very strongly by our expectations. Secondly, I'll talk about self-acceptance, about bringing about a sense of acceptance of who you are, where you are, when you are, what you are. And then finally, maybe a technique for self-understanding, self-awareness, self-development. Before I get onto those three things, here's the issue, okay? If you want to create a new set of daily habits, habits take a while, okay? Habits take about, well, on average, we seem to work out they take about 30 days. So most people tend to decide that they want to create a better set of habits when there's a reason, okay? When there's a really, really good reason that says, I need to be doing something about this sort of thing. So the question that I have for you is, what's going to keep you doing it once you reach the point where the pressure cooker releases, okay? Where there's less urgency to do it. What's going to keep you going? Otherwise, it's going to end up like a diet, okay? You may initially start with a huge amount of oomph, emphasis, need, determination, but then you kind of see a little bit of results and you kind of let your foot off the accelerator, and then you kind of get lazy, you kind of forget, and a month or two later, you're no longer doing it anymore. So what's absolutely essential if you're going to create a more positive set of daily habits is the reason why, okay? What is the catastrophe if you don't do this, okay? What is your leverage to keep you going at the point where you feel a little bit more comfortable? Because if you can work that out, then you understand what the conflict is between your imagination and your willpower. That's what's always getting you in the way. So if you can work that out, then perhaps you can play around with your imagination and you can bring about a sense where you understand what it is that you truly, truly want. So get that in your mind, and then if you can build a story around it whereby your willpower, your reason why intellectually, and the reason why at your gut level, at your imagination level, if they are aligned, then you'll go like a steam train. Then you'll keep on going for the rest of your life, because this is just a joyous way of exhibiting whatever it is to be you. And then here's the three things. So number one, set up your day. Set up your expectation for the day, the premise of the day well, right? It's very, very important, the first thing that you do in the morning. Now, I got this from Tony Robbins, so I'm not going to pretend that this is mine. And he said it, I honestly can't remember where he said it, but he said it kind of tongue-in-cheek with a little bit of a laugh. But the point is to get out of bed, maybe even to already have your shoes by the side of the bed. You get up, you put your shoes on, you get out the door, you go and have some fresh air, you go and look around at the world, you stimulate your organism, you do some breathing exercises. I love my life. I love my life. Some nonsense like that, okay? But do it with a sense of humor, a sense of open-minded amusement. Say hello to people that are on the way. And then once you've got your energy going, once your heart rate is going a little bit because you're doing a little bit of exercise, your breathing has stimulated your mental faculty, then start to discover the things that you are grateful for, the things that you are easily able to name that you're just thankful for. Have a half-hour walk, and your day is set up to work well. That's the point. It doesn't matter if you're doing this in a beautiful environment like this or if you're doing it in the middle of the city. There are things that you can do. You can go inside your mind and play with whilst doing this little bit of exercise. So that's a fantastic way of doing it. Okay. Number 2, self-acceptance. So inner harmony comes when you accept all of yourself. Inner disharmony, distress, comes when there is a conflict between the essence, within the essence of you. When there's part of you that are unacceptable. So how do you build a self-acceptance? There are many, many, many ways of doing this. And they're all based around this idea of kind of giving yourself a break. Okay. My favorite, the one that I find the most potent, is you go and sit in front of the mirror or you stand in front of the mirror really close. You look at the mirror, you look in your eyes, and you just stay there. You look in your eyes for 5 minutes. You're just there to look, to appreciate, to kind of observe, and to come to terms with where you are, who you are, when you are. It might be helpful at this time to have a set of intentions that you come with. I love you. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Please forgive me. Anything like that. The point is to give yourself a break. The point is to get back on your side. You did what you did in the past. You've had the experiences of your life that you've had. You kind of tried your best in the moments that you did. With the benefit of hindsight, maybe there have been better ways, but it turns out that at the time, you did the thing that felt right to you. And had you gone back in time to that moment with the knowledge that you had at that moment, you would have made the same decision again. It's almost as if there was no alternative at that moment because you came to what was the optimum decision at that time. So that's number 2. What was number 3? Self-awareness, self-growth, self-development. Okay. So for this, I recommend you look at the Stoics. Okay. What we're talking about here is questioning what you think you are. So we define ourselves by what we think we are, by the stories that we tell ourselves. Now, how can you do that? Personally, my favorite, obviously, is self-hypnosis. This is my stock in trade. But you can do it through meditation. What you're trying to do is to quieten the part of your mind that thinks it knows you, that thinks it has the right to label your experience, that thinks it has the right to dictate your perception of the experience. Once that part of you has quietened a little bit, then you can start to understand the rest of you which is behind that, the rest of you that is kind of behind the veil. You're giving permission to open up, to ease into a broader sense of yourself and to simply see what's there. So in doing this, either through a meditative process, you can follow your breathing, you can focus on one thing in particular to the point where everything else goes quiet. You can simply sit in a lotus position and observe what you observe. One that's absolutely lovely for me is you take a little piece of dried fruit and you don't eat the dried fruit, but you put it in your mouth and you taste it and you taste it and you taste it and you taste it and you keep it in your mouth, tasting it for as long as you possibly can. So you're exploring it with your tongue. So you're discovering the shape, the texture, the temperature, the flavors, the way that it all changes. And you might be able to do that for 5 minutes or so before you kind of feel the urge to swallow it. What you're doing is taking that chattering part of your mind. It's not gone completely, but it's kind of quietened, okay? But the point is not for creating the space of the quiet mind. It's not just a case of turning off the chattering part of your mind. That's the route. That's the ceremony. That's the way that gets you to the gateway of discovering yourself. So once that chattering part has gone, to me, what's going on is that you are establishing or re-establishing the information superhighway between your head and your heart, your head and your body, your head and your organism, your head and your gut, your head and your ankles. And you're starting to explore your intuition as opposed to your judgmental inner critic. And you're starting to open up to all things that are you. And if you can do that with an open mind, if you can do that without the critical part of you jumping back in and editing it, then you discover the truth about what you are. Then you discover more about what you are. That's self-development for me. It's starting to appreciate just how much more you were than you thought you were. Okay, so they're the three things. Okay, so first of all, before you get into the three things, why are you doing this? Why do you care? What is the point? And what's going to keep you going when you feel all right? Okay, supremely important. Then, having done that, one, set your expectations for the day. Set the premise for the day. Get your shoes on. Get out the door. Go and be grateful. Go and celebrate whatever it is that is around you, and just exercise your organism and get going. Number two, self-acceptance. Stare yourself in the mirror. I'm so sorry. I didn't understand. I love you. I'm your best friend. We are stuck in this together for the rest of our lives. So please, let's build a sense of harmony. Something like that. And then number three, self-understanding, self-development, self-awareness, either through meditation, through a variety of different methods that you can use for meditation, or self-hypnosis. I hope that's useful. Yeah. You can become a wonderful, wonderful friend to yourself by doing that simple process. To the point where you might almost want to kick yourself for having not done it 20 years earlier. It's that powerful.
Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If it resonates with you, then follow my podcast. I would also personally be really grateful if you might wish to leave a quick rating. It genuinely helps others to discover the podcast. If you personally would like more guided meditations, you want some deeper insights, you'll find all my links in the description. If you prefer a more visual boost, then you might want to check out my YouTube channel called Authentic Life Hypnosis. And if you're looking to do some deeper work that goes beyond one-way audio, then obviously you're very welcome to reach out. Equally, if you have any questions, I'm here to help. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.